All right. It is Thursday, the 29th. And here's the thing. You may think that's James sitting there, but not so much.
Not so much.
How about this?
There you go.
The great Adam Chodak. So here's the thing. Got to work early this morning, and James was here. Thought everything was fine. And then find out that he's just very, very, very sick. And he's like, we gotta do something with recording some of these weathers.
You don't have to provide details.
I gotta, and that's as far as I'm gonna go. Right. This podcast is made for those types of details usually, but I'll save you on that. And so I was like, I've got to do the podcast by myself today, which okay, fine, but it can not an issue for me, but maybe for people listening or watching. And then I was walking around. You were sitting at your desk,
apparently looking like I was doing nothing.
And I said, you doing anything? And you're like, no. I was like, you want to come be on the pod? You're like, sure. When? I was like, now. And grabbed the glasses, headed on over. The irony is, you were telling me before we started, you get so much done in the morning whenever it's just you.
Isn't that the case? You hear that all the time, especially people, even in your home life, if you wake up a little before the kids, the amount that you can get done because there just isn't the distraction. So yeah, there was no real reason I came in. I just needed to get stuff done.
It is amazing. Sometimes I'll do that, but you can't do it before my shift because it's so early, but yeah, I'll do the noon show, and some days I'll be here till like 1:15 because I can just get so many emails done. I'm like emails that I put off for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Every one of my responses starts with sorry for the delay. And let me get back to you. Yes.
But I'm getting to you now.
Yes, we get to you. You're in here because something we have in common, besides our jobs, running.
Yeah.
You're more of a trail runner. I'm more of a road runner. With this weather and this cold, are you outside?
No, well, that's not true. I suppose. I think I have an 18-degree limit. Anything under 18, I don't think is healthy. Ellen Boutillier, who you recommended I bring on, and she was fantastic. She's with Fleet Feet, and she and her husband Boots, they run a huge number of races in our area. They have clubs. They have people come out no matter the weather. I literally could be 0 degrees, -20 wind chill. They basically believe in that there's no bad weather, just bad clothing motto, and they get out there. And I just, if I'm not gonna be I tried one time. I ran towards was a Cheese Factory Road one time, and the wind was whipping. It was like 10 degrees, and I'm like, what am I? I'm not even gonna work out right now. This is crazy. So no, do you do that? Do you?
I think the coldest I've done was 15 degrees last winter. It was early in the morning, and it was like 10 or 11 miles. That's what I was.
Oh,
and I went out and did it, but it was, so you're running that distance, so you have some gels and the water bottles carry it with you. Like, my drink froze, and it was like mixed with liquid IV or whatever it was. And like, that's how cold it was.
Right, so that's some salt in there to even possibly.
Yeah, and then whenever I stopped and finally got home, it was when I just realized the front half of my body was numb. Even in all the gear I had, and I've got some decent stuff, I think, for winter, like my thighs, my chest, it was just like, I was like trying to get the feeling back. The best thing I've invested in is mittens instead of gloves.
Okay.
I've got some from a running company. Those are great. So my fingers are fine.
Yeah.
But it was just everything else. So
no, I know. Sometimes I'll take my gloves and I'll make them into mittens, and just the little like fingers are like
Yes.
flapping all about. No, I'll go. Look, I actually love a 25-degree run. I think it's refreshing. Anything under that, I saw some dude running 2 days ago. He had like the face mask on, and like you could see like the icicles building on him. And I said, what are you trying to prove here? And I thought to myself, I'm lucky enough to have a treadmill. We invested in one. We paid it off like 2 years ago. And I love the treadmill. Like, I get on the treadmill, I'll do that, and actually get a little too warm. Sometimes I ask my wife to open up the garage door, let the cold air in while I'm running. And you do that in the winter, and there's only a few weeks where you can't. So just go inside. Yeah. What are we doing here?
I know. I don't treadmill shame. I've got a new treadmill as well. As of about a month ago, our other one just burned out because put so many miles on it. And I love it. I don't get bored on it. I can find different shows, music, podcasts, and I can just crank it out and get it done.
I talked to Bob Lonsberry about this because he's a runner too, and he listens to like podcasts and books on tape while he runs. I'm a huge Audible guy. That's the only way I can read books is through Audible. I can't do that while I run. I just feel like running it takes kind of like a mental concentration. I listen to music, but I don't know how you concentrate on like actual like serious stuff.
Yeah, it's just, I can't remember the last time I ran with music. It's talk shows or audiobooks. I've done that too.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. Maybe an audiobook about Prefontaine or something, but that's about it. That'd be the only thing I could do. Yeah, I definitely I do the. Now I will say this: I will cheat, and I'll say I'll do something sub 18 degrees if I don't have regular snowshoes, but I have running snowshoes, which are thinner. So I'm gonna try to snowshoes. They come in like the kind of like oval like shape. Running snowshoes start oval and then they go skinnier because you have to go, your feet go like that. That's fantastic. But you're really not running, right? Like some people probably do. It's more like kind of like a fast walk.
Yeah.
That to me is acceptable in sub 18 degree temperature.
I actually, as a gift for Christmas, got some Gore-Tex running shoes. My first time Gore-Tex anything. So it's waterproof, snowproof, as long as nothing gets in there.
That's it.
I haven't put 1 mile on them yet.
Really?
I know. I've had them, and I'm like, a couple of afternoons I could have gone out, but I've been on the treadmill. I just haven't busted them out yet.
Yeah, you have to be so careful, as you mentioned with Gore-Tex. 'Cause I worked at a running store, and that was what Gore-Tex shoes came out while I was working. So we're talking 1998. Gore-Tex shoes were like a thing, and it has to be the perfect conditions where there's a little bit of snow on the ground, but if there's more or there's puddles and it gets in, because Gore-Tex is beautiful, it doesn't let anything in, but it doesn't let anything out either. And there's no breathability. Because the perspiration can't go anywhere. So they're perfect for certain runs, but you got to be really careful with those.
They're also white too, white/gray. So like they're just not dirty at all, and there's nothing. And I look at it, and I need to get out and do that.
This might, not right now. Maybe in a week. It's going to be 27. I saw 27 on Sunday or Monday or something like that.
Yes.
James, I can't be here right now. Gilbert. He said 27 or something. That to me is beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
It's refreshing. You get in, you have your warm Gatorade afterwards. You're good to go.
Yeah, that is nice. But like tomorrow when the high is 7, and then last weekend was like -5 on Saturday morning. And then I saw, like you mentioned, those weekend Facebook groups talking about doing the run. All right, get back to work.
Am I free?
Yes, you're free. Go
All right.
Go enjoy your time.
I was having fun.
I feel bad.
I feel like you're kicking me out.
No, I feel the guilt.
Just kidding.
I feel the guilt. Yeah. It's good. Thanks, Chodak.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in just a bit. Back here on the pod, second cup of sunrise, riding solo today. My name's Brennan Summers. Just had the great Adam Chodak in here with us. That was a lot of fun catching up with them. So I'm going to be, just me for the last bit. We're going to get into some news. Also, do the daily Survivor game. There's the QR code as we get ready for season 50, February 25th. So you scan this once a day, enter it. We've got some Survivor gear that the show sent us, and we will do a drawing and hand some out. And here is the daily question and answer. This has no effect on the contest. How many players were voted out while holding an idol? So how many people got sent home, voted out as they were holding an idol out of 50 seasons? If you want to take a guess, that would be, drum roll, 27. So there you have it. We'll do another question tomorrow. It'll be looking at just how many people have been involved in that show. All right, a couple of things to go over with that are big talkers in town just because it deals with road construction stuff we deal with every day. I got some news yesterday from the state DOT that Thomas Creek Bridge, right there in Fairport, that's the bridge just north of the historic lift bridge. They reopened that road a couple of months ago for traffic to help those businesses. They didn't need to as they were doing a bunch of work going on with that. So that was great news. And then yesterday they said they are completely done with that. And then we heard about another big project that could get going relatively soon, talking about next year, but it would have a big, big impact. And this is for Brighton and running right up next to the border with Rochester. I'll show you some of this, and it also includes the busy 12 Corners Plaza. It's a $13 million plan to give Monroe Avenue a facelift. Now, state leaders proposed an improvement project between the 2-mile stretch from 590 to the city border on Monroe. It would replace many traffic signals, fix sidewalks and curbs, and the big thing, though, turn it from 4 lanes into 2 lanes, and you would have a middle turn lane as well. And of course, once all this gets going, what do you typically hear from? What is this going to mean for all the businesses trying to get through the work?
We want to make sure the state is getting the word out about the project and doing everything they can to minimize the disruption, not only to the businesses, but to the neighbors and everybody else that uses the avenue.
Brighton's town super there, Bill Maley, who gave us an interview last night. For now, the project is in the proposal stage, with town officials working with the state on any revisions that they say the Brighton community will need. Again, this is likely happening if it does pass. The current plan is to start doing it in the fall of next year, so 2027, and it would take until the winter of 29 to have it all done. So we'll let you know about that. Maybe they can at least, while they're at it, right next to 590, do the 590 overpass on Monroe. You drive under that, you look around, and you're just like, see it crumbling. How's it not falling? Fingers crossed. They know that they have been out there and inspected that before. We did a story way back when during my time here, and they said that, you know, despite the looks, it's still structurally sound, but that is on the list of something they're going to be working on. Midday today at noon, we have the big press conference with Joe Brady, his first time speaking to the media and to Bills Mafia in his role as head coach. That got announced 2 days ago and came 8 days after the firing of Sean McDermott. The Bills social media team was out there this morning sharing some pictures of him early at the office. So when he starts talking at noon, we'll have that here on the streaming app, on our website, rochesterfirst.com, or just have this on your TV. I'll be anchoring that at noon. So basically anywhere you turn, you're going to be able to see that. Joe Brady's going to be busy, though, because he's got to build out his coaching staff, and there are some changes. Most notably, the defensive coordinator, Bobby Babich, is out. He's taking on a new role with the Packers. He will be the defensive pass game coordinator in Green Bay, so that's the end of his stint for 9 years in Buffalo. Babich started as an assistant defensive backs coach in 2017, then started working with safeties the following year. In 2022, he became the linebackers coach and got promoted to defensive coordinator in 24. When you look at the numbers for the last season, the Bills had the 7th best total defense in the league, largely due to their passing D. That ranked first overall. They gave up in the air just about 156 yards per game, and now Brady has to find a new guy to fill that spot. Also, they'll have to get a new wide receivers coach. Adam Henry is going to the Steelers to do the same job for Pittsburgh. Henry started his coaching career in the NFL in 2007 with the Raiders. Bounced back and forth, different jobs, college and pro levels, until he landed with the Buffalo franchise in 2023, and he's again in Pittsburgh with their new head coach, Mike McCarthy, who used to coach the Packers and more recently the Cowboys. So we'll see who all gets named there. Again, midday at noon, and that's where you can find it. No football this week. It's the off week before we get to the Super Bowl, and this is typically when you have one of the biggest nights in music, the biggest night. The Grammys coming up. We're going to have that Sunday night on News 8, so you can watch that. When you run down the list, Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, Sabrina Carpenter, they're setting the tempo this year with combined 22 Grammy nods. For a better look, here's Gwen Baumgartner taking a note of who's expected to win big.
Kendrick Lamar leads the 2026 Grammys with 9 nominations, an encore of last year's success where he took home 5 awards. He's competing again for Record of the Year alongside Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan, and Rosé and Bruno Mars.
Initially, I kind of thought Kendrick Lamar had it in the bag. Now, I've kind of changed my tune, and I think it's more of a race in some of the top categories between Bad Bunny and Lady Gaga.
Music critic Chris Willman says the Grammys voter base is evolving.
One thing the Recording Academy has done recently is invite everyone who votes for the Latin Grammys to become a voter for the regular Grammys. And so that is going to cause a big shift, I think, in giving Latin music more of a chance.
Puerto Rican powerhouse Bad Bunny is nominated for 6 Grammys. Newcomer Leon Thomas also has 6 nominations.
That's a real vote of confidence for him. He's kind of the anointed one this year.
However, Willman predicts Olivia Dean will take the award for Best New Artist. She faces off against Thomas, Cat's Eye, The Marias, influencer Addison Rae, somber Alex Warren, and messy singer Lola Young. But music's biggest night includes more than just music.
Best audiobook, where you've got the Dalai Lama versus Fab from Milli Vanilli. And only at the Grammys does that become a competition.
The category also includes actress Kathy Garver, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Trevor Noah, who returns to host the Grammys for the 6th time. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's audiobook. How about that? And of course, with everything, you can always find a Rochester tie. Some of the nominees do have some strong links to our area. One of those musicians and a classical recording bringing a centuries-old piece of music back into the spotlight. And for that, here is Gio Battaglia.
For the 7th time, the Boston Early Music Festival is celebrating a Grammy nomination. This time for a project that revives music written nearly 300 years ago. One of the musicians behind that recording is Paul Odette, a co-musical director of the group and a longtime professor at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester. The nomination is for a recording of Ino, a dramatic Baroque cantata recorded after a successful live performance.
In 2021, we did a double bill of a brilliant comic opera by Telemann called Pimpinone, and we needed a companion piece to fill up the evening.
The project features soprano Amanda Forsyth, accompanied by the Boston Early Music Festival Orchestra. After a strong response from audiences, the group decided to record the performance, a decision that's now earned national recognition.
It's still a great honor, and it's very exciting.
Odette says his work as an educator at Eastman directly shapes how he approaches projects like this.
And I learned so much from the students, and often the projects that I do professionally, I try out with the students in advance.
He says bringing Baroque music to modern listeners takes more than just reading the notes on the page. Much of the interpretation comes from studying how musicians performed the music centuries ago.
Composers expected a very high level of musical literacy on the part of the performers, so they didn't write a lot of details about how to perform the music. They left a lot of things up to the knowledge and discretion of the performers.
With the Grammys just days away, Odette says the nomination itself is a reminder that classical vocal music still has a place on the national stage. Reporting, Gio Battaglia, News 8.
Again, Grammy Sunday night at 8. Gio's full interview there with Odette will be streaming here tomorrow afternoon, 2:30, on the Rochester First streaming app. Been talking a lot about this weather. I'll actually try to do some of the forecasts since James is out in just a bit. First, though, issues around the home with the temps staying well below freezing. All the snow we've had, some more coming up tonight into tomorrow. Homeowners dealing with the icy roofs and overworked heating systems with nothing melting. Experts say the icicles can create serious issues like ice dams. That's when the melting snow backs up under shingles. Inside the home, furnaces are facing the strain. And when it's this cold, you can take a look at your thermostat. That's a nice step one. How about step 2, though?
No matter how high you turn your thermostat up, it's not going to make your heat perform faster or better. So if you are experiencing that type of thing and the thermostat is not the issue, move on to these other items or call your heating and cooling provider.
One of the most important steps, check the furnace pipes outside. If they're relatively low, you want to make sure they're not blocked by any snow or ice that has piled up. So just take a peek out the window, step out on the back deck every now and then to make sure you are good to go. Some positive signs with all the ice, just all the breathtaking views at Niagara Falls right now. I've been there during the winter time. It is awesome. You should check it out too. It looks just like one of the movies from the Frozen series when you're looking at it now, whether it's the viewpoint from the observation deck, Terrapin Point, Prospect Point. It is awesome, and it's just a perfect combination of all the elements.
The falls itself, should note, doesn't ever really freeze, but it does appear to freeze. It's an important distinction there to make. But also the mist floats into the air, freezes around the trees, the light posts, and creates this really icy, magical winter wonderland.
At night, they put up the lights there on the falls. It's just awesome for all the photos. Prospect Point, if you're wondering, that's probably the closest place to park and walk. Back here in just a moment. As I said, I will try to do some of the weather. Back here on the pod with James out. It's just me, Brendan Summers. Been fun. Had Mr. Chodak joining us for a little bit. I said I would touch on a little bit of weather because of just how cold it's going to be. So the low overnight tonight, 1. The high for Friday, 9. James said the wind chills we are looking at for tomorrow morning when you think about kids getting off to school, -15, getting close to -20. We'll see what they do about school going on to have it, because -25 with the wind chill, that's where they start to have a cold day alerts. Maybe they do some delays, or if it's a day off altogether. Then we do start to warm up a little bit, spin a bit. It's going to be straight all the way through it into next week, getting back into the 20s. So we'd like to hear that. I'll see you again at noon. That is what time we have the Joe Brady press conference. You'll see a lot of that during our broadcast. And then tomorrow morning here on the pod, Second Cup of Sunrise, where we are Monday to Friday, 9 to 9:30. Hopefully James can rebound and be back. If not, I will find some other special guests somewhere around here.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.